Good evening. How you going? So I tried to jump on and do this before, but my kids lost it. So they're in bed now and it's take 2 and I'm going to dive straight in. So for those of you who are watching who don't know who I am, my name is Nikki and I am a love coach. I work with women who are really ready to meet the man of their dreams and fall in love and find their life partner, but are struggling and keep attracting the wrong men and don't know why. So I help them get really clear on that to get to that point where they can attract in their soulmate. It's delicious. So if you are jumping on now, welcome. Please say hello in the comments. Let me know you're there. And if you're watching the replay, #replay. So as hi Lisa, hi Bryony, hi Crystal, how you going? So as the blurb says, I wanted to jump on and talk about the difference between being vulnerable in a relationship as opposed to just losing your shit. Hi Valerie. So I used to really believe that, hi Doug. I used to really believe that, if I was showing up in a relationship where I was like having major meltdowns and losing my shit and flying off the handle, that I was actually being vulnerable. Without realizing that is totally, completely different to actual true vulnerability. So when we are reacting in a way to our emotions and things that are going on inside of us to the point where we are yelling and screaming and like having tantrums and, because come on, we've all been there, having tantrums and yelling horrible things to each other and, crying and just kind of losing our shit. This is a reaction to an emotion that we don't know how to actually process. Whereas vulnerability is noticing an emotion, noticing something coming up and actually stepping into that and being able to actually express yourself in a way that's really healthy, that doesn't point a finger at anyone else, that doesn't blame someone else for your situation, that doesn't make anyone else feel like shit because of what you're feeling. So I'll use jealousy for example, because jealousy was a massive thing that I struggled with for years and years, not believing I was good enough, and then this would show up in my relationships as getting incredibly jealous. And what would happen is would be driving somewhere, my partner would look at a girl and, I had no idea what he was thinking, no idea what was going on. I used to look at women and men and he would look at women and men and, it was not anything wrong with what he was doing. But my insecurities and my fear went, oh, he's looking at her. He thinks she's better looking than I am. He wants to be with her. And in response to that, I would have a reaction to that emotion where I would say something like, are you right? Like, what are you fucking staring at her for? Like, do you want to be with her? And that's how I would respond. And I used to think that was me being vulnerable and showing all parts of myself. And of course he would just be like, what are you talking about? I said, you would chicken out that chick, fucking chicken out her ass, you want to fuck her? I'm like, lose my shit. And obviously that would result in him either shutting down or us falling into a massive fight. It just would never be pretty. Never be pretty. And what I've learned on my journey and through really going deep on this stuff and doing a lot of healing work on myself and working through that stuff was that vulnerability is completely different to that. Vulnerability is the times where I've been with my partner and I've seen him looking at someone and I've noticed that emotion coming up of jealousy, of that, that feeling of jealousy. I've been able to acknowledge that it's coming from inside of me, looking at myself and going, okay, hi Cindy, looking at myself and going, okay, where is this belief still showing up that I still don't believe I'm good enough? And then actually expressing to him in a way of of what's going on for me in a really beautiful way. So saying something along the lines of, hey babe, like I just really noticed some jealousy come up in me when I saw that you looked at that chick. And that is vulnerability. Vulnerability is owning your stuff, owning what's going on for you, and being able to express that to the person that you love. And that's the difference, because you're not blaming him, you're not making him feel like shit for doing something wrong that's not even wrong. It's taking full responsibility for yourself and then allowing someone to actually see that part of you, to be vulnerable with them, vulnerable enough with them to tell them what is going on for you. I've had another experience with Gary, my partner now, which was one of the most incredible moments of my life, one I'll never forget, and one where words weren't even needed to be spoken. Like I'm quite a strong person. I like to kind of take care of myself and not really need to kind of depend on anyone for too much support. But this was within, I think, about 6 or 8 weeks. It must have been between 4 and 6 weeks after my second child was born. I was not coping. I was really, really struggling. And there was one night when I was in the shower, and I just all fell apart. Like I'd just been pushed and pushed and pushed, and yeah, there was nothing left. And I was in the shower on my knees, and just sobbing. And he must have heard me, and he came upstairs and he sat beside me and just put his hand on my back and held space for me to really let it out and be vulnerable and cry and howl and really process. And the level of trust that built with that, the level of give me some love hearts if you're still on, guys. I'd love to know if you're still there. I can't see anyone. The level of trust that built in our relationship, and then actually enabled me to step even further into vulnerability with him. And it just changes. You shift from just being boyfriend girlfriend to a really beautiful, deep, soul-connected relationship. And it's really something quite special and quite incredible that I'm so grateful for. So that's pretty well it. The difference between vulnerability and losing your shit is that vulnerability is completely owning what's going on for you, completely acknowledging, taking radical responsibility for yourself, my favorite thing, and then being able to share that with someone without shutting down. So rather than internally processing and not saying anything or sharing anything, you're able to express to the person that you love what's going on for you. Whereas losing your shit is reaction to an emotion or a feeling that comes up that you take no responsibility for, and you're finger pointing and victim mentality and blaming someone else for. So yes, my loves, that is it. I just wanted to give a little bit of clarity on that for anyone who might be experiencing this stuff or has experienced it in the past, and wanted a bit more clarity around the difference between what vulnerability is as opposed to just flying off the handle. All right, my loves, I am off to go and spend some beautiful one-to-one time with my man now that the kids are in bed, and I hope you're having a beautiful evening. I will be seeing you soon. Much love. Bye.